So I've been helping people with their Amazon KDP businesses for a long time. I've done well over 150 one-on-one coaching calls with people trying to have success with Amazon KDP. And in my opinion, there are three main things that I see all the time that are probably the biggest contributing factors to why people can't have success with their publishing businesses. So if you avoid these three things, I can promise you, you will instantly give yourself a higher chance to succeed. Let's dive into it. So let's get into the three most important things if you want to actually sell books on Amazon and most importantly, make money. And the first one is getting too creative. So what I mean by this is, let's say somebody finds the topic balance exercises, and then when they go to publish a book, they create the book balance exercises for women over 50. And they think to themselves, hey, everybody who searches this up, who falls under this demographic will buy my book. When in reality, if you type in balance exercises, you'll probably find books for women, for seniors, for athletes. And unless you can actually prove that this customer is there, we can't assume that they are. So we have to search up this specific topic and make sure this audience is actually buying the books. And going deeper into this, we also don't want to get too creative with our book idea. So if our topic is balance exercises for women over 50, then make a book targeting that. Don't make a book overall balance and health for women over 50 or combine different topics in one. Just make the book that is clearly selling. All we're trying to do is solve one problem for one person because that's how people shop on Amazon. They're looking to solve one problem. Just to dive into this a bit deeper so you can understand it fully, let's say our topic is cognitive behavioral therapy, and we have a great idea that let's make a cognitive behavioral therapy book for adults or book for women. And all these 28,000 people who fall under that category will buy our book. Once again, do not do this. If our topic is cognitive behavioral therapy, create a CBT book specifically. Don't get too creative. It's not going to work. And if you do want to target a specific topic or a specific person, then that's a different topic you should be searching up and actually validating and seeing if there is potential. If you can't prove that your exact customer is there, I can promise you, you will be disappointed. And I see this all the time. Just to drive this point home, we want to find a specific topic, solving one problem for one person. We want to prove that that specific topic for that one person is good because there are books that are selling. And then we create a book on that topic exactly. We don't try to get too creative or reinvent the wheel. We just give the customer what they're already buying. And we simply make it more desirable and a better offer than the competitors. It's easier, it's faster, it's packaged better, but the core idea stays the same for that one person. So the second mistake to avoid, and a big reason why people aren't making money with their books, is their topics simply don't have enough demand. This is probably the biggest thing I see, is people publish in topics that don't have high demand, and they're just struggling to sell books because there's simply no customers there to buy them. If there are no customers, I don't care how good your book is, I don't care how many reviews you have, your book is not going to sell. And also something else to note is we don't want to pick topics that have broad customers. It looks like there is demand and people there when there really isn't. Let's dive into this a bit deeper so you can understand what I'm talking about. Let's say we type in the topic relationships. It's a very popular topic. There's over 30,000 search volume. The books here are selling super well. And so we think, oh, let's make a relationship book helping people to have more healthy relationships. And it's going to rank here and it's going to sell well because there's so much traffic. But that simply isn't how Amazon works. This has a ton of search volume simply because it's just a broad term that tons of people are typing in. And these books are selling well because they're most likely celebrities, they're authority figures, they're best-selling authors, they have thousands of reviews. And once again, assuming that we can create a book and captivate this audience is just not going to happen. But what we can do is look at the books that are here and say, what are these books about? How can I niche down further to go back to that core concept of solving one problem for one person? And right off the bat, I can see a couple of books on communication. And so niching down to something like relationship communication gets you closer to where you want to go. And now we can see this is a more specific topic, targeting a specific customer, and we can assume that somebody who is typing in relationship communication is looking for a book on relationship communication. It's easy to prove that the demand is here, and this is just more what we want to look for. And so how to prove if there is demand is very simple. We have to make sure that the search term that we typed in matches the search results. The books that are ranking are the same as the search term, so we know that people are typing in something and looking for a specific book, and then we pair that with some proof. We have some books that are under 200 reviews that are selling well, ideally a 30K bestseller rank or less. And so if we can see that the topic is specific enough, and then there are books that have low reviews that are selling well, pretty safe to say that there is demand for the books that are there. As long as we create a book that is desirable, it's a good offer, it's targeting that topic, we launch it correctly with enough reviews, there's no reason why we can't pull some of that traffic toward our book. So if you want me to dive deeper into my keyword research process, how I actually find these specific topics, and how I actually prove that there is demand, so that you know you're in the right direction, I will leave a full KDP course linked below. So definitely watch that video next. It's going to walk you through my entire high content publishing process, right from finding a topic to launching your book. And so what you want to look for is when you type in a topic, let's say we type in Golo diet, if all the books here are not selling, you can easily see with a tool like BookBeam, then it's very obvious we don't want to publish a book here. What you do want to see is when you type in your topic, you see multiple books on the topic, no grid, off grid survival, and all the books are selling well. We have bestseller tags, we have low bestseller ranks, $200 a day, $40 a day, $50 a day, $100 a day. It's very clear that people are buying the books that are here. And if they are relating to the topic you're typing in, then we know that that's where the traffic is coming from. Because if we just type in, let's say, relationships or survival, and there's all these different books that are selling, how do we know that those books are selling from that search term or a different search term? So that's why we want to type in something specific, off-grid survival projects. There are clearly books on off-grid survival projects, and those books are selling well. It's very safe to say that that traffic will be coming from that search term, and if there's proof of demand, there's no reason why we can't make some sales too. So the third high content publishing mistake you need to avoid, and one of the biggest things I see with people who are struggling, is they don't give their book a fair shot. And so what I mean by this is, let's say they do have a specific topic, it has high demand, however, they gave up too soon. And what giving up too soon looks like is most likely they're gonna stop at 40 reviews. And so if there are other books selling, you can too, but the important thing is we keep going and we see our books through until the end. That's the thing about Amazon KDP, is your books get better over time, and the more reviews you get, even if it takes 6 months or a year, the better your book is gonna sell. And we have to make sure we're seeing our book through until the end, we're driving sales to it, we're getting it ranked high on page 1, and we're getting enough reviews for it to actually sell. And we're also making changes throughout the way. We're discounting the price every once in a while to drive traffic. We're updating our cover if our click-through rate isn't very good with our ads. And we don't just launch a book, get 30 or 40 reviews, and just call it quits if it doesn't just sell like crazy. Sometimes books take time to rank high and have the social proof to sell, and they might need a few cover tweaks to find what works well. But the important thing is, if there is demand there, if there is clear proof that there are other books selling with not too many reviews, then your book can absolutely sell too. We have to see it through until the end. And then once, of course, you do get 200 plus reviews, this is when everything gets better. So if you're seeing potential at 50 reviews, then your book starts to sell even better at maybe 100. When we push to 200 plus, everything gets better. Your ranking, your organic sales, your ad performance. And the biggest reason why people struggle with their businesses is they have a book that has 40 reviews. All their sales are coming from their Amazon ads because their book isn't ranking. And it's going to be next to impossible to become profitable because Amazon ads are expensive nowadays. And so it's not that they can't make money from their book, it's just they haven't gotten their book to a point where it actually makes sense for it to sell. High ranking, lots of reviews, optimized cover. And so even if you see a glimmer of potential with your book when you launch it, make sure you see it through until the end. And even if this does take a bit of time, that's fine, because our book is in an evergreen high demand topic that's not going anywhere. So it's important we put in the time to get our book to where it needs to go. Otherwise, we're just selling ourselves short. We don't need to publish more books to have success. We just need to take our books to the finish line. And so if you are struggling to get reviews, this is a great strategy to use. Basically, I will use a site like Book Bounty. I will build up my review currency over 90 days. And if my book is enrolled in KDP Select, I will run a free promo every 90 days and get reviews with the currency that I've built up on that free promo. So every 90 days, I'm doing a bit of a review push. You should be able to get anywhere from 20 to 40 reviews if you're building up your currency on these sites throughout that time. And then once your free promo is ready again, you start it, you get more reviews, and you repeat the process. And over 6 months to a year, it's very easy to get your book to 200 plus reviews. The problem is people launch their book and think that they need to get to that within the first week. And although you do need to get maybe 30 to 50 in the first week by building up this currency beforehand, getting it to 200 plus takes time. And just set yourself up with a system like this so that your book will continually grow its reviews. And over time, you will see that it's very easy to get your book to 200 plus. It just takes more time and effort than people think. So publishing high content books, although they do have a few extra steps, in my opinion, is the best way to make money on Amazon. They make the most royalties, they have the least saturation, the quality control is a lot stricter, so you don't see as many crappy books like you do with low content. And with the integration of AI, high content books are easier, cheaper than they ever have been to make. There's lots of ways to get around the extra work and the extra cost. Once again, I will link that full KDP course in the description below, as well as it will be on the screen here somewhere. The last thing you want to do is spend a bunch of money and time publishing books that just don't sell. And if you understand these simple concepts throughout, how to find a good topic, what makes a good book, how to launch it correctly, and a few of the things we talked about today, you're going to have a way higher chance of succeeding, and it's going to be way more manageable than you think. So that's it for this video. We'll see you in the next one.